the weather forecast with Coloca in its multipurpose banquet hall, Il Palazzo.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and a super happy Sunday to all of you out there. Thank you for being part of this edition of the weather forecast. We would, between tonight and tomorrow morning, have a calm weather dominate the nation, with the temperatures dropping to as low as 14 degrees. That is in the Adamawa region. We'll have 15 degrees in the northwest, and the north as low as 16 degrees. We'll also experience as low as 17 degrees in the littoral, and the south at 20 degrees, with the southwest region dropping to as low as 21 degrees. Next, we go over to the east region, where this evening there is no chance of precipitation in all the major towns, and same experience by morning, with Baturi having the least temperature at 20 degrees. Next, onto the east region tonight, we have no possibility of rainfall in the entire region, and same experience by morning, with Bafang having the least temperature at 14 degrees. And lastly, onto the far north region this evening, there is no possibility of precipitation, and by morning it will be exactly the same thing, with Marawa having the least temperature. And if you haven't, I encourage you to make our time and go discover the Tupuri people. Thank you for watching, and do have a good night.
Cameroon awaits its 2020 CHAN rivals as draws take place in under 24 hours at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex. In this newscast, get the temperature of eager football fans on Team Cameroon's prospective opponents. Dust is still to settle on the head of state's address to the youth on February 10. Tonight, we put a spotlight on his appraisal of youths for their outstanding performances in international sporting events. Plus, the practice of democracy in Cameroon's political landscape is now evident as more and more political actors are beginning to accept the verdict of the ballots. Our focus in this edition will take us to the littoral region, which used to be one of the hot seats at the polls. These stories and more right ahead. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on this edition of the 7:30 News with me, Gladys Tata. In just under 24 hours, the official draw for the 2020 African Nations Championship shall be conducted here in Yaoundé. In the build-up to the event, the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex, where the ceremony shall take place, has been busy in the past few days with various technical and artistic installations being made on the premises. Jeffrey Abane visited the complex early today and now reports on its look 24 hours to the draw ceremony.
This is the Chan Village, the first stopover point for attendees of Monday's draw ceremony. Here, delegates from the 15 foreign nations shall be introduced to the culture of the host nation.
It's important for Cameroon to welcome the world, first to welcome Africa for this important event. And it's important to welcome all those people somewhere. So you have here our 4 cultural areas: Fangbeti, Grassfield, Sawa, and Sahel and Sudani.
And then there is this, the stage, a flamboyant blend of colors and style, almost set, rehearsals for the protocolar activities ongoing, and the final installations being made.
C'est ce qu'on regarde aujourd'hui, les derniers détails.
Today we are keen on details to ensure that we have a very interesting display tomorrow in terms of installations, design and aesthetics, so that Cameroonians watching tomorrow will be wowed.
Se mettre devant leur télévision et se dire wow.
On the sidelines, the CRTV is present to beam Monday's ceremony across the continent and beyond. 24 hours to go, the clock is ticking down.
And as you rightly say, as the hours die down for the draw ahead of the 2020 CHAN, Cameroonians are anxious to know the group and opponents of Team Cameroon. Victor Siga paraded some streets in the capital city to get their expectations. Here's what he brought back for the 7:30 News.
Just a day before the draw ceremony of the 6th edition of the African Football Nations Championship, the expectations of the Yaoundé city dwellers are many.
My expectations against tomorrow's draw should be that Cameroon as a hosting team should have very good opponents.
I want that Cameroon should play in a nice group where they can easily win.
Tomorrow's event at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sport Complex will see the presence of several officials of the African Football Confederation and football icons for the second time this year, an honor that leaves the citizens indifferent.
It will be an advantage for the football team because you boost them and encourage them to go further than the coach that have been training them and so forth, and you boost their career.
It's a blessing and another symptom of Cameroon's strength. People said Cameroon is not able, but this is the second time we are having Ahmad back in Cameroon within 1 year. And then we expect to see him most often and more football icons to come to Cameroon because it's a land of unity in diversity.
In the streets, eyes are already fixed on the potential future rivals of Cameroon.
I think and I wish that Cameroon should play with a reasonable team like that because they'll give us an opportunity to win the match. And I'm sure that they're going to win it in God's grace.
Should play with tough teams like Tanzania or Togo or whatsoever team that they are playing.
The appointment is made for tomorrow evening, where the 16 qualified teams will know their opponent.
The Democratic Republic of Congo are returning to the African Nations Championship after missing out on the previous edition in Morocco. The two-time winners alongside Morocco Atlas Lions are experienced teams in the continent showpiece. Daniel Ekonde took interest in the highly rated teams as we narrow down to the draw. His report.
DR Congo and Morocco are most rated among the 16 teams as the draw comes up this Monday. Congo's Leopards are the only team to have won the CHAN twice, their latest in Rwanda 2016, and are looking to get a third silverware this April. Morocco are the defending champions of the African Nations Championship and won't hesitate to retain it in Cameroon. Their vibrant football league and two continental giants in Wydad Casablanca and Raja Casablanca put them on the edge of African football. On the radar too are Libya. Having conquered the 2014 edition in South Africa, the Mediterranean Knights have their sights on going past the 2018 semi-final level. There is also room for improvement among Mali, Guinea and Zambia. Mali are 2016 beaten finalists. Guinea were semi-finalists the same year and have made great progress in club football. They pride themselves of Horoya AC, who have reached the CAF Champions League semi-finals twice in a row. Zambia finished third in the inaugural 2009 CHAN. Cameroon are not weighted heavy in the competition after failing to win a match in the 2018 finals in Morocco. But on the face of it, the domestic Lions can take a step further from quarter-finalists in 2011 and 2016. They have been training since November 2, a period to build a formidable squad.
And still in sports, let's now revisit the head of state's traditional address to the Cameroonian youth on February 10th. On the occasion, he praised sports youths on their outstanding performances in international competition, helping to secure victories for the country. With these numbers of factors put in place, the head of state has made the sports youth proud. Baldwin Sama, in the following write-up, looks at some of these key elements that make up the pride of the Cameroonian sports youths today.
It remains undeniably one of the key aspects that has left sports youth in Cameroon proud, the sports infrastructure they have been blessed with thanks to President Paul Biya. Like a father who has always given a listening ear to his children, different sports facilities have been constructed nationwide to permit these sports youth excel, defend the nation's colors and secure victories for Cameroon. From one region to the other, these youth practice different disciplines thanks to the impressive infrastructure. Youth training has and remains a priority to President Paul Biya for several years, with training at the base in the different regions given a pride of place. Thanks to the President of the Republic, this impressive structure, the Yaoundé Sports Complex, was constructed that has permitted youth in Cameroon to practice different disciplines and to make them proud. The President of the Republic created the National Football Academy that has so far graduated 2 different batches of over 50 young interns whose talents will be harnessed for the future. The practice of sports and physical education has now become a necessity at the basic and secondary education levels, with these sports youth in Cameroon satisfied with the great role the President of the Republic has played in molding them.
The President of the Republic, in His Excellency Paul Biya, places a high premium in sports and celebrates the outstanding performance of the various categories each time the occasion presents itself. In his address to the youth on the occasion of the 54th Youth Day, President Paul Biya revisited the different titles and trophies Cameroonian sportsmen and women distinguished themselves in, describing the victories as unique actions of flying the nation's flag. Here is an excerpt of his speech selected for the 7:30 news by Kilian Dantifon.
I will mention the victory scored by our young sportsmen and sportswomen on the world stage, which include the second Africa Cup of Nations trophy lifted by our under-17 men's football team in April 2019. The second African Women's Volleyball Championship trophy won by our women's national volleyball team in July 2019, and the designation in January 2020 of our women's national football team as the best women's football team on the continent. I believe that we can take pride in our young sportsmen and sportswomen, through whom Cameroon's flag is flying very high.
We take you over to the East region, where the Cameroon Soleil Levant, a non-governmental organization in partnership with the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, have organized a capacity-building workshop on ICT. Students from the Government Technical High School and Government High School in Angosas attended the training, as TAL LT reports from CRTV East in Bertua.
With a single click on his smartphone, Zometia Nevis, a fourth-year engineering student in the University of Boya, can make this toy Lamborghini move. Thanks to Cameroon Soleil Levant, an NGO, and the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, Nevis can share his dream, passion, and knowledge on artificial intelligence to these students of the Mwan subdivision in the East region. After receiving a 3-day training on ICT and computer robotics, these students selected from 2 schools in Angosas came up with models of projects they would like to realize in their locality.
We had children who built the hydroelectric dam to generate electricity, because here in the village, Angosas, they have difficulties in electricity. I also had kids who were able to come out with a project to generate biogas.
Initiating these kids to technology is not enough, but helping them through with their projects is the aim of the Cameroon Soleil Levant group.
After this training, it will help them to search financement, to search resources, and we will assist them to continue.
The divisional officer from Bwans, Silvanus Abendicha, says his wish is to see the next mathematics and engineering genius come from his area.
Council sessions as of right following the February 9 municipal elections will either take place on February 18 or 25th, corresponding to the second Tuesday after the proclamation of results of the polls. The Minister of Decentralization and Local Development has written a circular to the senior divisional officers, who are the local competent administrative representatives, to scrupulously respect the legal provisions governing such elective sessions. Kilian Dandifon has an analytical reading of the circular.
The circular of the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development falls within the legal framework of the December 2009 General Decentralization Code and the 2012 provisions of the current Electoral Code, which state that the results of municipal elections shall be proclaimed by council supervisory commissions within a maximum of 72 hours from the close of the polls. The electoral law also makes it clear that the council sessions as of right shall take place on the second Tuesday from the day of the proclamation of results. The sessions as of right deal with the election of the mayors and their deputies. The February 9 municipal elections took place on Sunday, and results which were proclaimed on that Sunday evening or on February 10, the next day, the councils involved will hold their sessions as of right on February 18, while those proclaimed on Tuesday or Wednesday will take place on February 25, corresponding to the second Tuesday from proclamation of results in either case. Another thing the circular points out is the election of the city mayors by the subdivisional mayors, who are eligible but must give up the municipal position if elected as city mayor. The circular of the competent Minister of Decentralization and Local Development to the senior divisional officers, who are government representative authorities of territorial decentralized entities, calls on them to ensure a strict respect of the legal provisions.
The just-ended February 9 twin polls, which held nationwide, have recorded a significant participation of youths who say they are eager to contribute to nation building. Some of the youths who took part in the political battle as candidates say their dream is to serve and ensure a positive change in Cameroon. In the following report, Rosalind Fossa of CRTV Littoral took interest on their motivation and their appraisal of youth's participation in political issues.
The daring spirit and determination of youth have changed the myth of politics belonging to a particular age group. And the recent February 9 municipal and legislative elections is proof of the desire and interest already made known to the public during the 2018 presidential elections. Many of the candidates who took part in this political battle were youths who were venturing in this business for the first time. Their major motivation, just like 28-year-old MPC and legislative candidate, be at the service of the country through politics.
I love my country. I want to see my country change and to show to our government that young people have something to say.
The list of youths were some CPDM and SDF candidates.
My parents were politicians, so I decided to do like them and concentrate on social democracy. Politics is a personal engagement, and I chose to do politics because I like to be at the service of others.
Apart from being candidates, the municipal and legislative elections were also a means for youth to show their love for politics through vote. The appraisal of the candidates concerning youth's participation in the voting process varies.
In my locality, there was many young people who participate in that election.
The rise in the political appetite amongst youths lately falls in line with the head of state's call to see more youth in decision-making, and politics is one of those platforms.
The Littoral region and Douala in particular has been tagged over the years as the heart of election quarrels in Cameroon. This concept has gone through a big shift with the last elections in which the city of Douala sent in the biggest number of political parties. In the following report, Veronica Benyela looks at the new political dynamics of the city of Douala and says some maturity has entered politics.
In the past years, the political landscape of Cameroon witnessed election result complaints with accusations of voting irregularities and fraud. 1 week down the line since the last municipal and parliamentary elections, Douala has been calm and quiet. Members of the political parties who lost have so far accepted the results, even in areas considered their stronghold.
We feel a bit sad, and we have hope that for the next election we'll do better than this. And we are just sad for the fact that the population, they did not express their voice. And we hope that in the 5 years to come, we are going to work hard in the field to make sure that we are winning this council.
Although some Cameroonians have been criticizing the last elections on the social media, for the real actors on the field, focus is now on the next step, that of taking office and attacking the issues worrying their electorates. However, the low participation rate at this election remains an issue to be addressed by political leaders, both the old regulars and the newcomers. They have to prove to those who have developed voting apathy that they are working for the interests of the people. If people see improvement in their lives because of their political choices, performing their civic duty will be a pleasure. Nevertheless, the political maturity now displayed by inhabitants of the city of Douala is a great achievement in the democratic journey of Cameroon.
Post-electoral petitions on the 2020 municipal election are being submitted at the administrative court in Mendong here in Yaoundé. So far, 18 petitions from 9 political parties are calling for the cancellation of results in some councils in the Central region. Sidonie Jobmandi tells us more in the following report.
The majority of petitions submitted at the administrative court of the Central region by different political parties called for the cancelling of results of polling stations in Minta, Maka, Monatele, Ezeka, Nguimbasal, and Mesondo councils. Among the 18 petitions registered by the court registrar of the said court, the CPDM has 6 petitions contesting results of the municipal election in the Central region. The People's Political Party, in his petitions, contests the CPDM list and Elekam requesting the cancelling of results of polling station in the Ubala Council. Nonetheless, other opposition parties such as the PCRN, ANDP, UNDP, and the CRAC also called for the cancelling of results of the municipal election in some councils in the Central region.
And away from politics, the population of the Southwest region have been encouraged to be more concerned about protecting the pangolin, which is a very precious but vulnerable wildlife species. The Southwest Regional Delegation of Forestry and Wildlife, with some of its partners, have organized a seminar to school some wildlife protection staff and students or from some schools on how to protect this wildlife species. Charles Abuna was also there and sent in this report from CRTV Southwest in Boya.
Despite its classification as a Class A endangered wildlife species, pangolins are one of the most haunted animals in Cameroon. The Southwest region and Cameroon has 3 of the 4 pangolin species in Africa. That makes it crucial for the population to be educated on their role in protecting these precious wildlife species.
It is endangered. I mean the pangolin, I mean the catabif. It is endangered, and so we should protect it. We should conserve it to the best of our knowledge so that posterity, I mean our good generation that will come to meet a very good environment will be able to also see catabif like you and me have done.
Like the students, they are the future generations. So if we inculcate that knowledge in them about wildlife and conservation, I think they will grow with that knowledge and when we spread it to future generations.
The seminar was also an occasion to educate the participants on the legal framework with regards to the protection of the pangolin. Prizes were awarded to the participants at the end of the seminar.
The control team of the construction work on the Église Évangélique du Cameroun, EEC, says work on the site is progressing. The assurance was given during an inspection visit to the site to assess the level of advancement. Victor Siga completes the story.
The construction work on the Cameroon's Baptist Church complex in the Briqueterie 1 district is in progress. According to the inspection commissions of the church, the work is so far at a satisfactory pace.
I am very happy seeing the materialization of this long-awaited project. It comforts us because we baptized this year a year of victory. We thank God for this.
The working session that brought together the control team and the engineer on the site was an opportunity to underline some difficulties hindering the advancement of the work.
We, as God's children, we know that it's God who built the house. We pray and we really hope that God will build that house for us.
For the completion of this project, the church is calling for the mobilization of funds and as well the implication of all.
Some sons and daughters of the East region have thanked God for his protection and a successful 2-week campaign period despite few accidents that fortunately recorded no casualties. The Thanksgiving Mass at the St. John Paul II Auditorium in Bankolo was said by Reverend Father Jean-Marie Bodo, who together with them have prayed for the head of state and Cameroon. Emmanuel Avemio tells us more.
After 2 weeks of intense political activities in the East region in line with the twin poles, a handful of sons and daughters from the region of the rising sun are here to thank God for seeing them through amidst some difficulties.
We have been on the field during the electoral campaign. 2 of our brothers had accidents. Fortunately, God preserved their life. We thought it's good to come and have some time to say thanks to God. We also say thanks to the head of state, His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, for having chosen some of us to go and conduct the campaign on the field.
The Thanksgiving Mass at the Auditorium Jean-Paul II in Bankolo is an occasion for the celebrants, Reverend Father Jean-Marie Baudot, to liken them to the leper who returned to Christ for Thanksgiving after being healed. The choir in song takes their supplications to the Almighty. Prayers are also said for the head of state and for protection over Cameroon. Then for Mr. Medumba Moise and Gervais Bolenga, whose lives were spared after an accident in the Bumba and Goko and Opanyong divisions of the East region. They have thus communed with God, sharing in the sacraments of Holy Communion, and have together prayed for better days ahead.
Corruption, prevarication, abuse of power and other forms of unethical behavior by elements of the National Gendarmerie are part of the 260th phase of the road safety campaign this weekend. Kilian Dandifon followed the task force to Yaoundé-Balmayo National Road No. 2 yesterday, Saturday, and brought back the following sights and sounds.
Yaoundé-Balmayo, Saturday, February 15. This truck lies overturned at a bend for the 3rd day. No warning signal to other road users. Only God has taken control this far to avoid consequent deadly accidents. Further afield, the National Gendarmerie is carrying out the 260th phase of the 3rd generation road safety campaign with the recurrent offenses recorded.
Non-respect of speed limitation, a lot of used tires from trucks. We also have a lot of people who are not tying their safety belts.
But the situation is nevertheless getting better.
People on the way are more conscious of their safety and what we are doing here, behaving more responsible and according to the law.
At the same time, road users are sensitized to denounce unethical behavior of gendarmes on duty using the toll-free number 1501.
Most of the time, when there's an abuse of a gendarme on the way, on the service, there's no way the complainant can get to the hierarchy to complain. But with this number, they are happy that there is a way now for them to express themselves and to make their right respected.
It is part of civic responsibility to denounce acts of abuse on duty.
And it is on this note that we draw the curtains on this edition of the 7:30 News. Thanks for watching. Atta Badine Umar will be your host at 8:30 for the bilingual edition of the news. As from tomorrow, meet Moki Edwin Kinzaka at 7:30. I will be back from Friday. Until then, it's bye from all of us on the 7:30 Call.